What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Clippers Latest, where we talk all things LA Clippers, quick, fast, and to the point. I'm your host with the most, Brandon Goggins, back here with another episode for you guys today. I hope that everybody is doing quite all right. If you are, whatever time you might be, watching this video, I hope that you're doing all right. Or if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, I appreciate you tuning in, first of all. And if you are, listening to us on either of those platforms, I would appreciate if you gave the podcast a follow and a rating of 5 stars if you feel like it's a 5 star worthy podcast. I think it is, but ultimately up to you. And if you're on YouTube, if you're watching here, I would appreciate if you like the video and hit subscribe because we are on that road to 1,000 subscribers. We almost there. But nah, we are going to talk about the game that happened tonight, our final regular season game. For the 2025-2026 NBA season against the Warriors. Obviously, there is an elephant in the room to be addressed regarding last game, but we will talk about that in tomorrow's episode more than likely. So, yeah, be on standby for that. But nah, we're going to talk about this game against Golden State because, we come into this game and we already know that Kawhi is going to be ruled out. He's sitting the last game of the season. Final game, best player not suiting up, you're immediately thinking like, all right, so what's this team going to look like? Who's going to step up, and how? Because, after that Portland game, you needed some type of response, because you going up a Warriors team that you about to see in a play-in literally next week. So this was kind of like a preview, you know what I mean? I'm saying next week in 2 days. Time. Just a concept. But no, like, very, very soon. So this was just a glimpse into whatever is going to happen. And you already know Steph Curry was going to be a problem because we ain't played him all year. I didn't know what to expect. You know what I mean? So naturally, he comes out getting to it early. Luckily, on our side, we had John Collins, who had 10 points, started out 5 for 5 from the field. And I'm like, all right, if Collins getting on early, this is always a good sign. Only problem is he had 10 of our first 14 points. I'm like, this is cool for Collins. Where the hell everybody else at? You know what I mean? We're going to need more than that. But nah, after a timeout, I think that the broadcast, they gave a shout out to Chris Dunn for being our Iron Man of the season, playing all 82 games. That's really tough. That's really something to commend, especially in today's league where load management is so popular or injuries are just so prominent. Because everybody's just more explosive overall, and I feel like that's a lot of wear and tear on your body. And playing 82 games is a lot of wear and tear on your body. So shout out to KD for playing all of those games and playing it with the most intensity and the most aggression, always coming out and giving 110% on the floor. So shout out to him. But after they gave him that shout out, there was a little scuffle or something between Golden State's Pat Spencer and, Kobe Sanders. They were getting into it, and I'm like, oh, Pat Spencer, don't be playing with my rook now. Don't be playing around with my rook now. You know what I'm saying? But luckily, that didn't escalate. But something else is escalated at the end of the quarter. Seth Curry, who is, on the team with his brother, both the Currys, unfortunately made us pay in this first quarter. He hit a three. He tied that up with time expiring, but Ben fouled Charles Bassey off the ball. So even though they were reviewing it to see if like he committed the foul before or after the time expired, naturally it was before. So Charles Bassey went to the line, hit one free throw, and just like that, we're down one heading into the second quarter. And basically, second quarter was a quarter of runs, and we started out pretty nice. Ben was getting in his bag, 10 early points. He was being aggressive. He was being confident, getting to the basket. That's what you like to see. And Darius Garland, he finally gets his first bucket of the game after a pretty slow start from the field. So I'm thinking, all right, hopefully that bucket gets him going. Then Ben comes down. He knocks down his second three of the game. And I'm like, all right, we cooking. We were down by as much as 7, and we flipped that into a 10-point lead. I'm like, all right, this is what we need. Didn't mean to rhyme, but I'm a poet. Write it down. But anyways, we all know how stuff like this goes. Leads in this league, don't really mean anything if you don't stand on them. And right on cue, Warriors started chipping away. They cut it down, and the next thing you know, it's a game again. But credit to us, we were able to respond a little bit. Darius, he hit a three, pushed it back to 11, but then right then again, they cut it right back down. They cut the lead down to 4 by halftime, and yeah, I'm telling you, Warriors is a dangerous team with momentum. Even if they're shorthanded, they can still flip a game just like that. You know what I mean? So at this point, I'm like, we gotta clean something up in the second half. Like we gotta do something about this. It's an important game. Then I go and look because I was checking out all the scores because everybody in the league played tonight because it's the last day of the season, and I saw that Portland had a 20-point lead at halftime over Sacramento. And I know what I just said about leads and how they don't hold, but to be real, Sacramento wasn't coming back from that, and they didn't. So at the time, I'm like, okay, if we win, that's good. But if they also win, that's not good. Because of the elephant in the room being the game from the other day. Because they won, they got the tiebreaker. Meaning that if we both won tonight, they would get the edge. They would get the 8 seed, we would get the 9 seed. What happens? We win, they win, we're the 9 seed. But again, we will talk about that in tomorrow's episode. But excuse me, essentially this game didn't even matter, basically. Because the result was going to be the same for us regardless in terms of seeding. But I still wanted to win this, send a message because we will be seeing the Warriors, come Wednesday. So, you know what I mean? But we get to the third quarter, and, it's exactly what you expect. Back and forth, tit for tat. Warriors cut it to 1. We go back up. They come right back. Then we start getting really sloppy. We were just being real complacent. Turnovers, bad shots, just forcing shit. And I'm like, what are we doing? That's how you let a team hang around. Now they right there with you neck and neck, and you got to earn everything. You know what I mean? But late in the quarter, thankfully, Darius Garland was starting to find his rhythm, and I'm like, all right, better late than never. But of course, Steph Curry hits another 3, puts them back up 1, and I'm like, here we go again. Then Nick Batum comes in at the top of the 3, or top of the key, hits the top of the 3 key, top of the key 3. Shut up. Anyways, but that put us back up 3. We really needed that. And then Bogey, he got in. He was making the most of his minutes. Shout out to Bogdanovic. I know that I've said certain things about him, as the season has gone along, but he had a good game tonight. He had a nice, strong take to the rack, and, he got himself going, so that was good to see. But then again, we just weren't able to pull the strings together defensively, and they tied it right back up. And then right before the buzzer, Jordan Miller was able to get downhill, finished, and we were going into the fourth up 2. And then we get to the fourth quarter, and Charles Bassey, bro. If y'all don't know, Charles Bassey just signed a 10-day contract with the Warriors a few days ago, like last week. And you would have thought this man been here all year. Like, he had 14 points and was perfect from the field at this moment early in the fourth. I'm like, bro, who is this? Respect. Who is this? What are we doing? You know what I mean? Like, why are we letting him do bag work on us? Like, what are we doing, bro? Charles Bassey, you see, I can't even say his name. You know what I mean? But nah, Bogey, he started heating up, bro. He hit his third 3, and I'm like, all right. Then he hit another one, and I'm like, all right. Where's this been all season? What the hell? You just been, like, what are we doing, bro? We could have used this. But shit, I'll take it now, I guess. You know what I mean? I'll take it now. Then he pulled from deep. I'm talking about, bro, he pulled from, like, the logo. I'm telling you, like, for real. Like, Steph, Dame, Trae Young, all them. He pulled from there. LaMelo, heat check. Shoot. That heat was checked. Because that mug went in, splashed that. I'm talking about he cashed that. And I was like, all right, my boy Bogey feeling it a little bit. That gave us our biggest lead of the night, up 12. But of course, we get a little bit lackadaisical. They cut it down. It's a 2-possession game with 2 minutes left. And I'm like, this is not over till it's over. Please don't do this again. I cannot mentally deal with this right now. But then, Jordan Miller, dagger 3, 1 minute left. and that was pretty much all she wrote. And way to close it out. But don't get it twisted. We see them again Wednesday, so we know that this isn't over, and they will be thinking about that. But just like from what tonight gave us, we just literally made history. That's something to really celebrate. We are the first team ever to go from 15 games below 500 and finish the season. Not even just like get back to 500, but exceed it, And we were able to make it. That's crazy and really something worth celebrating. But, there's still other things to worry about. Would I have loved the 8th seed? Of course I would have. But again, we will talk about that tomorrow. But tonight, I'm just glad that we were able to get the win. We had 6 guys in double figures. Nico was right there with 9. And, this was all without Kawhi. So if that's what you look like when you're shorthanded, that's a good sign. But of course, we knew that the Warriors are shorthanded as well. So we got to be prepared. Both teams are going to be different next game. In my opinion, I like our depth a lot more. I like our talent a lot more. I think that we have the upper hand. But at the end of the day, they have Steph Curry on their team, and we know what he is capable of doing. So we need to make sure that he doesn't do anything. We need to shut him down effective immediately. We need to get Draymond riled up, get him ejected out of the game, and we need to get pods in his head so he'll start taking bad shots and making bad turnovers. But ultimately, all trolling aside, we need to go in there and take care of business. So, I guess at best we have the home court advantage. So we need to take the wins how we can get them. But we'll talk more about this, the implications of the game, what's on the line here in a future episode. But for now, that is going to do it for this episode. I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you hit that like button. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, as always, about everything that we talked about today. And hit that subscribe button if you're new here, because we like to help you over here at Clip Gangs. If you ain't Clip Gang, don't bang. Again, if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, I appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you rate the podcast 5-star out of 5, and make sure you hit that follow button if you're listening on either platform. But that is going to do it for this one, guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed. I'm going to get on up out of here, though, y'all. Y'all be easy. Y'all stay sleazy. And always keep it capital P. I'm going to catch y'all in the next one. Y'all be smooth. Peace.